Did everyone get the invite? Oh, I see Ruby. Oh, shoot. I see Christine. One more person. Bree. Okay, amazing. This is great. You guys can't see me, can you?
Oh, better turn off the mic.
All right. Oh my gosh, what is this? Yes.
Stephanie, I don't see you.
I see that. I'm trying to figure out why I'm not being seen. I may have to disconnect from something else, perhaps. Let me close this.
I found I had to turn the camera on and off again a couple times.
Oh, okay. Here it goes. So weird. Oh, okay. Camera is, yeah, done. All right. Oh, let's see. Good. Can you guys see me now? No. Oh, I think I'm there. Right? Can anyone see me?
Yes, I can see you.
I've never been happier to see myself instead. Okay. This is literally recording now. So I thought we would get a second to like do what we were going to do first, but that's not going to happen, I guess. So we're just going to jump right in. I thought I would just do a quick itinerary for the meeting and then go from there. If y'all are good with that. Okay.
Sounds good.
This is the Redwood group. Should we introduce ourselves?
I think so. So welcome to Team Redwood for FNU PC 729. This is the first policy packet group meeting to discuss this assignment. The itinerary for this meeting is if you guys would say your name and your background so we can get some context within, you know, whatever discussions we decide to have. 2, talk about how we want to use the forum space that's in the policy packet assignment. 3, pick a policy. 4, devise workflow and work groups. And 5, decide where to meet next. I won't go first.
I can go. I'm Bree Farron. I'm a recent FNP grad from FNU, working my first NP job now. I'm at Planned Parenthood, New York City, and was working in Staten Island today. That's why it took me so long to get home, but I live in Brooklyn. My policy paper was on age of consent for contraception, specifically New York State.
Okay, I'll go. If you're done. Okay, can you hear me? I can't hear you. That's why I'm asking. Okay. I'm Christine Isnardi. I live in Palm Bay, Florida. I just finished the FNP program at Frontier, and I just started my first job. It took me a few months to get in and credentialed and all that good stuff, but I just started last week. I only work part-time because I have another job with the county. I'm an elected official here in my county that I live in. I know it's kind of strange. It's my other life. And I did my policy paper on immunization. Basically, it was perfect timing too, because that measles outbreak in Washington State happened just after I chose that, because I'm a big advocate for immunizations and stuff like that. So I did my policy packet on that and whether or not we should allow for non-medical exemptions. So I am married, I have 6 children, and we're very active in the community. That's me in a nutshell.
Nice to meet you. I'm Ruby Greer, and I graduated from FNU as a women's health nurse practitioner last March. I haven't started working as an NP yet. I spent the summer in Hawaii while my husband worked on the monorail in Honolulu. So I was gonna start with a local OBGYN in the fall, and then he moved practices. So I will still probably start with him, but I am expecting my second baby in March. And I am having an out of hospital birth with a FNU midwife grad. So I'm pretty excited about that. I am doing my DNP project at Planned Parenthood. I live in Helena, Montana. And so at the Planned Parenthood Helena, and I'm going to work on adolescent depression referral processes. My policy paper was also on vaccination. So it was on vaccination requirements for school attendance in Montana. What else about me? I work as a school nurse, and I've continued that while doing the whole Women's Health NP program, and will continue it while I do the DNP. And even if I get a job as a WHNP, I probably won't quit because I love my job so much and I enjoy the hours, having summers off. Hopefully I can work PRN at Planned Parenthood after I finish my DNP and when my babe's a little bit older. And that's it for that.
All right. I guess that just leaves me. So my name is Stephanie. I am outnumbered here, I think. I'm a midwife, but I'm a CNEP FNU graduate. I did CNEP class 130. I started that in 2016. And then I went on to what was supposed to be this companion DNP program. So during this entire time, I was working as a new graduate midwife in a very busy practice, working to implement a huge ACNM, reducing primary cesarean section project through Frontier. And that's correct. I've been working the past 3 years as a DNP student trying to get through this because, it's been a process. It's been a process. Stepping into this role as a new provider, as a new midwife, and working in that role in a new facility, because when you think about it, the crux of this entire program is about identifying processes that don't work well and stepping in and changing these processes. And so if you could imagine, as you guys are all about to do, in some shape or form, it'll be stepping into a new role as a new person and identifying problems and making change within a large system. And I only say that to say this, is that this is my last class, and I want to be clear that I want to do well. So good luck to all of us. Okay. So that's that with the itinerary. That's number one. The second thing is to talk about how we want to use the forum. That's the space that is in the policy packet assignment. I don't know if you guys saw it a week or two, however, it all blends together. I already set up a shared Google document. I suggest we use colors to differentiate our contribution because that's part of the assignment instructions. And also part of the assignment instructions is that we need to record like any type of interactions, I guess, that we have, whatever, and we're supposed to be submitting that. Also, we'll be submitting that Google Doc. And then there's this forum that we're supposed to like be talking in, showing like our teamwork. So can you guys talk about how how we want to use that forum, or know that we need to use that forum, and then as we discuss the policy that we want to work on, decide how to use the forum? I don't know. I'm open to ideas because I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm just curious about the forum duplicating any work we do in the Google Doc, or do we like do kind of our own messy work in the Google Doc and then formalize it in the forum. Like, I don't know. Because the Google Doc we keep for ourselves, right? But the forum gets submitted. Is that correct? Or do both get submitted? Does anybody know?
The last part of your sentence I didn't hear. You said, does what get submitted?
Sorry. Does both the Google Doc and the forum, are those both submitted? It kind of doesn't matter.
But that's what it looked like. I mean, let me pull it up. It actually said, where is this? Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm just
terrible at this.
Clicking over to it again.
Okay, it says. So this group work is going to be like 2 major kind of assignments in one, right? Basically.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
This is the group for both policy packet and
policy discussion.
And social justice analysis.
And social justice analysis.
Yeah.
Wow. Yep.
So that's
a lot.
So the policy packet has 3 different submissions.
Right. I did see that.
Submission, peer evaluations, and then policy packet. Team discussion.
And the rate, I don't know if I missed something, but the way I read it was kind of like, okay, just submit, proof that you're working together, whether it be by, Google Docs, recorded sessions, that sort of thing. I don't know that it requires.
You don't think it was all?
To do all 3.
Yeah.
But that's sort of, I don't remember if I heard that in her video tips or whatever. I think she just wants to see the progression of us working and see the, sort of like the work that we put into how we get where we are, if that makes sense. I don't know that it's a requirement that we use the forum or the Google Docs for that matter.
Yeah,
but I like
that's how I picked it up too.
Do you guys think that there's any kind of, we have like the video, so we'll be submitting that, but there definitely has to be some, I think we should choose one or the other, the Google Doc or the forum.
Yeah. Because we don't want to have like emails and docs and forums all confusing things.
The email was immediately out. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, definitely.
Excuse me, sorry.
If you guys, so do you want to vote? Which one do you want to do? The Google Doc, or do you want to use the forum?
I like the Google Doc idea only because it's a work product, and the forum may just be more of a communication tool. I mean, that's just my opinion.
I agree. We can see our progress, especially when we color code our Google Doc.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can make edits in there and it's a working document.
Yeah, I agree.
We just have to all agree, and I don't know if you guys had this problem working on other group assignments, not to overkill it, like just to make sure we're succinct and that we're doing what's required and not. And I'm not saying anybody tries to outdo somebody else, but sometimes people feel like they have to put in a ton of information because they want to feel like they're contributing. And sometimes if you've ever shared a study Google Doc or anything else, sometimes it gets insane.
Yes, girl. So like that, I'm doing in another class, the exact same thing. And it's, by the time we come back together and everyone answers whatever question super succinctly, by the end of that, we can pull a piece of this, a piece of this, a piece of this, and usually have a nice paragraph. Yeah. So that's going to be key. So I think we agree, Google Docs. So that's item number 2. Item number 3, pick a policy. I'm outnumbered. I won't pick any like midwifery things.
Immunization is really great, but I don't know. The social justice piece may be a bit difficult, even though you can show, I guess, some areas. I know in some poor areas and some areas without, some underprivileged areas sometimes, suffer from decreased immunization rates. But I don't know if that's really going to get at the core of what she may be looking for in the social justice portion. So you actually may have a better topic, even though we have a plethora of information, I'm sure, on the immunization stuff, because I did the exact same topic, you know what I mean, immunization in schools. So it's great that we would have a lot of evidence, but I don't know that that social justice piece will pull in as much as she may want it to.
Right. And, you know, I agree, Christine, I agree with you again. Like, there's so much evidence, but I had a long conversation with her on the phone about basically about social justice and parents' right to choose. So I'm not sure we could really win with that, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I guess I failed to mention then mine. My DNP project, what it was, and then what I worked on for this policy paper. But in the meanwhile, I vote for Breeze.
I do too.
Process of contraception consent. That is, I like that. But in the interest of fairness, I did for my DNP project, I did implementing intermittent auscultation as a standard of care for low-risk women in labor. And for my policy paper that just passed, I did implementing nitrous oxide on a labor unit. So those were two interesting things. The good thing about both of those topics, is the DNP portion. I have data firsthand about that. Okay, so that's one thing. Although I still vote you, Bree. I'm just so we're clear. But in contraception consent seems really nice. But that was my topic.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think my weirdness is that New York has like contraception for all young people, and basically because they don't have a law not to. So my paper was a little weird in that respect, in that it wasn't like a passing of a law or a specific thing. But I think it'll still work for policy packet, because you can use that kind of information and the data to target, say, I forget where it was, like Oklahoma, that does have you can't get contraception because it doesn't count as emergency care or something if you're an adolescent. Which I think I'm understanding the policy packet thing correctly. Like, we're writing a letter and we're doing some other stuff, right?
Yeah, it's three things. It's a letter, a formal letter, kind of, an audio-visual presentation, and a fact sheet based on, basically.
Right.
So, Bree, could you upload your paper onto Google Docs so we can read all the evidence and explore the topic?
It will probably be later tonight because I have to retrieve it because my other computer died, but it's cool.
Oh no! Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So, Bree, you keep cutting out, and I don't know if it's just me. Ladies, do you have the same problem or not?
I hear pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I can hear okay.
But yeah, what I was saying, Ruby, is it'll be later tonight or tomorrow morning. I'll send it to everybody.
Great.
Yeah. What was next on our agenda?
It was devise a workflow, because we have three basically separate portions of this, right? And so in the interest of like making sure we all have like a portion of it, I don't know what the easiest way to do that. I mean, we'll utilize the Google Docs for ideas, but particularly the presentation or the audio visual piece is going to be key. I guess we'll do it like this, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. All right. That's not.
We could start a letter on Google Docs and use the example to formulate it. And we could do that. We don't have to do that as necessarily while we're meeting. We can add to it. And then when we do meet, we can make final edits, or does that sound doable?
That's a great plan. That's a great plan. And then we agreed that we just pick a color so that way we can see our independent contributions. And we also all agree, Christine, we're not going to be talking a whole damn lot. Yes.
For the fact sheet, when I was looking at that, do you guys agree that it's kind of somewhat of an infographic, or it can be? Did anyone use an infographic? I know in like Nurse as an Educator, you could, or a different course, some people created infographics.
I remember that. What course was that?
I don't remember now, but it intimidated me.
It was hard to kind of piece it together, but I do love the idea of a Prezi. I've been using that my whole entire FNU existence.
Yeah.
It's an interactive PowerPoint type presentation that has some animation, but you can import, pictures, charts, because that's going to be.
But she wanted it narrated, right? That's going to be the tricky part because there has to be narration. So I think it has to be.
Yeah, you totally can. Yeah, you can narrate it.
Okay. I didn't know that. I've never used Prezi. I think I've seen a few, but they weren't narrated.
Yeah, you can narrate it.
Awesome.
But I think that we were talking about though for a fact sheet, not the.
Yeah, but you have to provide the fact sheet to whoever you're trying to persuade. You have to hand them something. You have to be able to hand it to them.
Right.
Okay, so that is what we're talking about. Okay.
That can be an infographic, but it's got to be something that's like.
That's hard to use. That's kind of hard to use. Does anyone know how to use that?
I like doing that, the kind of graphic stuff, making it look good.
Yeah, mine turned out pretty good. I remember when I did mine. It's a little tedious, but.
Is that something that can be shared or?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it is?
I think so. I think we can.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Stephanie, to touch on your point, or maybe it was Christine's point, that we all don't have to do like boatloads of the same thing. So we should play to our skill set. Like Bree, if graphic design is one of your talents, then I think that's great. Whereas one of my talents is I'm organized and good at editing. So, I mean, of course, still putting in a lot of work, but like I said, I'm a little intimidated with graphics. So if I can help write the material and you can, help make the graphic, that would make me more comfortable.
And then we can maybe also have maybe just even like a lower portion of the Google document in case there's any, feedback that we should provide. Like, oh, we want to make sure that our infographic contains this. And then the person takes those ideas and makes sure that they graphically look great.
And I write a lot of letters to legislators and receive a lot in my office. So, I mean, I might be able to use some good grammar and buzzwords in that area.
Ooh,
might be able to offer something a little different.
I love that. I love that. I hate writing letters. Oh, that's good.
Start thinking of personal stories now that pop into our mind. That's one thing that she talked about in the tips and tricks is even though we use evidence, these personal stories, which Bree, I think that there's probably quite a few important stories coming out of Planned Parenthood or, even from ourselves. So let's start thinking about that too. So
that'll be part of the 3 to 6 minute narrative, right?
Even in the fact sheet.
Yeah.
The fact sheet also.
And in the letter.
So really just throughout everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one thing I got from the fact sheet is to make our target audience clear. So obviously for the letter, our target audience would be a legislative either a legislator or a group of legislators, and we need to ask for something. So, Bree, in your policy packet or policy assignment, were you asking to decrease the age of? So that was where you cut out.
Oh,
Were
okay.
you asking to decrease the age of consent for contraception, or change it, or what are we going to ask for?
So, yeah, the thing is, for mine, it was a report on New York State, which after I had already halfway through, I kind of realized that the reason New York's laws are good is because there is no law. So, but I think we could address the example she gave in the project. I think it was Oklahoma. There are a couple states that have specific, like, people under 13 can get, or sorry, people under who are minorities, under the age of majority, you know what I'm saying. People, they can get life-saving treatment, but treatment to prevent pregnancy cannot be considered life-saving. Or there's like crazy language like that. So I think if we were to pick a legislature, which I can go back to, the Guttmacher has just a list of all the laws around the country. And we could just pick one of the states and like target them and say this.
And we'll pick the most egregious one, and we'll just try to get them to remove the law altogether. That might make it a little bit easier for us.
I don't know a whole lot, but we're looking at New York, Florida, Montana. I'm halfway between Massachusetts and Rhode Island, between both. I don't know a lot about policy and reproductive rights, but I'd venture to say Florida probably has some jacked up stuff on the books.
Probably not as much as you think.
Really? No, I have no idea.
We have crappy practice authority here, but that's about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
what about in Montana?
Even though Montana seems like the Wild West, it's interesting how our state is run. In actually, it's a conservative state, but our laws tend to be pretty liberal. Like, we have independent practice, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's no age of consent, but I'd need to look at that more closely. So
Montana's good on contraception. Florida has no law that explicitly allows minors to consent to contraceptive services.
So similar to New York. Is that
basically?
I'm guessing we're going to need to go somewhere in the South.
Mississippi, maybe, or Alabama.
Or find the most egregious place. Like, because I don't think it matters.
I can look into Florida more. Florida might be one. Weirdly, you said you're between Maine and Rhode Island?
Massachusetts and Rhode Island. And Rhode Island, we just got some stuff off the books. That's okay, for sure. Because we used to have to consent.
So what about Utah? Utah, I used to live there, and they have some interesting laws.
Yeah. Utah. Okay, state funds may not be used to provide minors with confidential contraceptive services there.
That's in Utah?
Yeah.
And I just want to, before we go way delve in, is this going to be is this an appropriate thing that we are allowed to go outside of our specific?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't see why not. There was no restrictions.
Yeah, I didn't see that either. Just making sure. Go down a rabbit hole.
I mean, I think one of the reasons we pick one person's policy thing is that you then have a content expert. Like, you're not reinventing the wheel. You know, you already have half the work done.
Yeah.
I think if we hated all of our projects, we could pick something totally new. But it makes more sense to pick one that somebody already has information on. Yeah, I think Utah might be good. Or Alabama, dudes. Like,
Cool. So our target audience will be legislators, and we're asking for basically no age of consent for confidential contraception. It's on the agenda, Stephanie.
I have to take notes because my brain just
I did too. All right, so I did get. So you guys are really good at talking about your backgrounds and stuff, the things that you're good at. I don't know if I have
And
anything.
unmuted again.
I don't know if I have any like major strengths. I don't know. I don't know. I will. I'm definitely not a graphics person. Oh, what about? What else did we have? Yeah, Christine, you're gonna do the letter, right? Christine's gonna really work to make sure that's beautiful. Graphics, Ruby said.
Well, you're good at Prezi, right?
What's that?
I am. What is that going to be used for? The presentation?
Yeah, right? We could do that, I think.
Right, because there's a way on here to screen share, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. Okay, great. And then we can talk over it and that type of thing?
Yeah.
All right. And then so at the bottom of the Google Doc, should we put different, another space for audio-visual ideas?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And maybe like narrative portions, like once we get finished with all the, all the meat and all the content, we'll have the narrative portions. It's okay. We'll just separate the Google Doc by page. Like we'll have a blank page between each section. Like we'll have one section where the paper is, one section where the content is, one section where the fact sheet stuff is. Believe it or not, fact sheets, I know she wants some images and some things like that. If you go overboard, then it looks like an elementary school. So we have to be careful with that. Now, I have one back when, because I did hospice for a long time. And when I was, of course, because of my elected position, they're like, great, Christine, we want you to go to Tallahassee and fight for these hospice services. So they gave me a fact sheet, which is kind of, I don't know if it's going to, I don't know if it's boring though, because it's hospice. It's not like it's something that everybody wants to talk about. But it's not.
It's a skeleton.
Yeah, and it's not graphically like exciting. It's just more, these are the facts. They're bulleted points. It's good. It's a good graphic. I'll see if I can get it because I don't work in hospice anymore, and it was in my work email. But I think I actually may have it, so I'll take a peek and see if I have that. And at least it'll, even if we don't like the design, maybe we'll get to this is how they spanned it out because it's a big company that was lobbying to make sure that we didn't lose that funding, that reimbursement in hospice. So they have the funds, the experts, the lobbyists, so I'm sure that they got a lot of input to create, the whole package. But anyway, we didn't have to wind up testifying only because they ended up getting what they wanted. But yeah, it was neat how they prepped me. It was like they did all the work for me. I didn't have to do much of anything. I just had to use a little bit of my position a little bit, I guess, for credibility because I was both elected and I was a hospice nurse. So, but they did a good job of putting that whole packet together. So I'll see if I've got that. And at the very least, if it's too much information, I'll email it to you guys if I can find it.
Okay. I think I may have a few laying around from when I've lobbied in DC for like AANP or.
Oh, that's
awesome.
Really good. Okay. Yeah. We have like good framework. That's great.
Yeah.
Another question I have, when I was watching the tips and tricks, Dr. Baker was talking about with your evidence and who you want to show supports the idea. You don't necessarily want to go to any nursing or, like, for example, we want to use, AANP or Planned Parenthood. We'd want to pick something else that lawmakers are like, oh, that's non-biased, and they support.
Right.
Like parents groups or teachers or.
Yeah.
Because that's Utah. So it's going to be, are we assuming right off the rip, they're probably a little, what's the word? Conservative?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like if we could find that the LDS Church supports contraception.
that would be
shot.
We'll check into their thoughts on that.
When I was living there, I remember they used to not support it, but then when we went through the recession, it's not the Pope, the guy that's in charge, said that, I can't remember his name now, but he said that it was okay to use contraception then.
during
Wow.
this session.
I know the Catholic Church has changed its view on that. See, I'll tell you straight up, I'm conservative, but I'm a libertarian conservative. So I don't quite fit in, anywhere. I manage to, but I'm not a socialist liberal either. I'll just be straight up. But I managed to piss off Republicans because I don't think like they do, but Democrats don't like me because I'm fiscally conservative and I'm a big, I have my views that are just different. I mean, I lived in Canada. I know what socialism is, and I know it doesn't work. So that's just me. But my libertarian views really turn off a lot of Republicans. So I managed to upset everybody here. But you can't run as an independent because independents don't get elected here.
Right.
So I mean, that's just a fact. Independents don't get elected just about anywhere. So you have to pick your battles. So the Liberty Caucus likes me because the libertarians know I lean more towards them, but they're nice. Libertarians are cool. They like everybody, because they don't want any rules.
I think it's so interesting that, I don't know. I think it's so interesting that anyone who works in healthcare, I think it's so interesting when I hear certain political views and I'm like, you work in women's health, you do not work in women's health because you can't work in women's health and think the way that you do about particularly, there's things like this, access to reproductive healthcare, reproductive justice, things like that. It's like a completely juxtaposed. It's impossible in my mind, it's so weird. What an interesting dynamic.
Given that, are you okay with this? Are you going to be able to support us in this project?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And regardless of my views on my pro-life views and stuff, that has nothing to do with contraception and access to contraception. So yeah, if I had a problem with it, I'd tell you guys. Like I said, just because I'm a Republican doesn't mean that I'm stupid,
You couldn't possibly be doing what you're doing and be stupid. That is a juxtaposition.
No, but I'm saying I'm not closed-minded. You know what I mean? I don't.
Right.
Again, that's the libertarian in me, and that's why, I'm never. I actually upset more Republicans than I do Democrats. I probably have more Democrat friends than I do Republican friends, but that's okay. I mean, it is what it is.
We'll wait till after this assignment's submitted to ask you your elected position.
Yeah, well, you can Google me and find out. So.
I'm gonna wait.
You guys will. One of you will. That's okay. That's all right. I'm controversial in many ways. We I'll keep it short, but we just disbanded the Children's Services Council, which makes me sound like a monster. But they were a program that was in place for 30 years that did nothing. They did nothing for children's services. And what they do is they fund places like the United Way and Goodwill and stuff. And their CEOs make $200,000 a year. And that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to tax property owners. So only property owners would pay the tax. But they have these bureaucracies, tens of millions of dollars, over the course of the tax. And no services would go to the kids. So since they weren't doing anything, we wanted to keep them from doing that sort of thing. So they tried to, of course, the one side tried to paint me as to be I'm like, I'm a freaking hospice nurse, for crying out loud. I'm not a monster. And they tried to make it sound like, plus I have 6 kids, hello. But they wanted to make me sound like a monster because I wanted to disband this group, when in actuality, I was trying to protect, our single moms that own houses. I was trying to protect the senior citizens there's a lot of senior citizens in Florida on fixed incomes.
Yeah. And
what this tax would have done is attached to a property tax, but would be managed by an unelected body that would decide where to distribute that money. So philosophically, I just absolutely could not agree with it. But I have a soul. You know what I mean? So
this is terrible. You're like, I have to tell you before you Google me, I might have just done some download shit. I'm just putting it out there in case you Google me. I just need y'all to know. But I'm gonna support you on this project. But y'all need to know.
But that just happened. That's why I'm saying if you Google me, it'll probably be the first article that pops up.
No, this is amazing. This is amazing. I want all the points. I want all the points for this meeting here of the minds. Thank you, Frontier Nursing University.
Stephanie, if she supports home births, it's like, a lot of the hospital midwives are like,
like, what? Are you gonna die? No, you better have your baby at home. You better live.
Yeah, and I love midwives. Midwifery is like everything. It is. And I have midwives. I have midwife friends that are very liberal, and I have midwife friends that are very conservative. It's just,
Right.
you know, and they usually just don't talk politics. My best friend in the whole wide world is the most liberal person that I know. We just don't talk politics because where
Yeah,
we
you totally
agree,
have to. No, you
yeah,
totally
well,
have
where
to.
we agree, we'll never change the other's minds where we disagree.
Right.
So it's
Right.
cool, and I love her to death. You know,
It's
she
like
works
you've
at an
got to
HIV clinic.
you've got to like value those friendships
Yeah, absolutely.
over those. Right. Right. Exactly. However, however, I will say that if someone had starkly different political ideas than I did, I would have to stop and think about if their values are so they're so converse than from what I'm thinking. If their values are that starkly different, how much of a friend is this person? How close are we? Because we couldn't possibly feel the same way on many different core values,
Yeah.
and share opposing differences, even politically. You know,
Yeah,
it's
but
kinda,
if it's not so like egregious, you can find areas where you can educate each other too, like where you can relate and where you can say, you know what, I do agree. I am pro property rights and I am, pro choice, or I am this, but it kind of surprises them to hear that you're not one way or the other. You learn a little bit about each one, I
you
guess.
do. No, it's so true. You do. You totally do.
Yeah. But now that we're way off topic, sorry.
All I would have to do, I would just have to be like, listen, we don't connect on any of this. I know you believe in breastfeeding. I know you. We can agree on that. So you got to find middle ground, right? Everybody loves breastfeeding. You can't go wrong with that,
definitely.
Right?
I've been there, done that once or 6 times.
Yeah, there you go. See, there we are. All right, we done totally got off subject. When do we meet next, calendar-wise?
That's always fun. I like the Google thing that we did.
Who sent that out? Was that you,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great. That's a good idea.
I can do one for the next week.
Or do it for the next 2 weeks, just to, so if we need to meet twice, then we have those dates. Because you can only imagine what my schedule is like. But when I'm free, I'm free. Like there's no question. But yeah, my schedule's a little hilliness.
And so are evenings usually best for people? Are there daytimes that works for people?
Evenings are amazing for me. This time of day, and also Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays at this time are great for me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But basically, Bree put every single date from here on out, so we can pick, because the reality of the situation is we might need to meet more than one time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So just put them all there, and we'll just kind of like keep a rolling thing.
And is anybody available daytimes, weekends?
Weekends are always good for me.
Okay. Sundays though?
Yeah.
Sundays are Sundays make oh Lord, touch and go, I guess.
Yeah. That's how Tuesdays and Thursdays are for me, because I have board meetings. So, but I don't have one is every other Tuesday, like or the second and fourth, and then the other one is the first and third Thursday. So it's like random. So
okay.
And I work Monday, Fridays, so that's jacked up. But Wednesdays, here we are, right?
Yeah.
Look, we love Wednesdays and breastfeeding.
Nice.
And contraception.
Yes. Yes. Hold on, buddy. I got finished doing my school stuff, but
I have 20 kids if it wasn't for contraception, man.
I know. I'm like hanging on to my Mirena with dear life. Like, no, ma'am, you will not let me down. I am years to go.
I am the biggest fan of Mirena. My goal is in family practice is to get certified in that and convince my MD to allow me to do them in the office, because I do all the PAPs.
Do it. Oh my goodness.
I want to so bad.
It is the best thing since sliced bread.
When I educate my patients. Yeah, when I educate my patients, I'm like, I explain everything, and I'm like, but you really want this Mirena? It's like, I'm hoping nobody has some random, because I love it. I'm like, it's so great. You don't have to go. It doesn't go systemic. It's like hormones are there, and you don't know it's there. I'm like a huge fan.
I say, I have a spiel for each type, and then I go like, and Depo. I have to tell you about Depo, but no. No, not Depo. But I have to tell you, it's a choice, but no, not Depo.
I said Depo gives you migraines and makes you heavy, so no.
The girls I work with are baseline, have an elevated BMI anyway. Yeah. And once I'm like, yeah, irregular spotting, the data shows a 15-pound weight gain on average over the course of one's movies. There's
well, I had a bad
facts.
experience with Depo myself, so I always tell them about my experience. I'm like, these are the risks, you know. And so, I don't mean to turn them off, but at the same time, I know those risks. I mean, I had that firsthand experience, so I don't ever recommend Depo. I mean,
I try not to put my bad stuff out there because I had the worst experience. I had a uterine puncture with the attempted of my IUD the very first time.
Wow.
And I would have, if I didn't know what I knew, I wouldn't say that was a mistake. That was an error. I know that that could happen. I know that this is a great form of contraception. I'm going to do it again. I would be telling them little girls like, oh, then they broke through and it was flowing in my body. Because that's what they think, the young girls. They think, oh, I heard it could just go float around. I'm like, your uterus is a dead end, girlfriend. It's a dead end. It's not going. Oh, anyway.
Well, and I didn't like the Mirena. Like I feel like I'm the only person ever.
Oh no! What was it? Stop! No way.
It was. They say it's local and not systemic, but I got like cystic acne within days.
Yeah,
so I believe it.
Systemic for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And any difference in a woman who knows their body that suddenly they experience some different symptoms, I am quick to not write that off as something else. You are putting something in your body. You better pay attention to what's going on with your body. So that wasn't for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I still think it's great and I recommend it too. But, you know, I love natural family planning, but I recommend it to nobody.
I actually recommend that all the time. And I mean, I put in tons of IUDs, like 10 today. It was a big IUD.
Did you? Good for you.
Yeah. But I love when people are like feeling really bad about themselves and like, ooh, all I do is pull out. And then we have a big discussion about like withdrawal and sometimes condom, and you know your fertility and you track when you're fertile. Like you do all those things. That's better than nothing. Like that's great.
Better than nothing. And now with all the apps they have you seen all those apps like Clue and Flow? Those girls love that stuff. They're like, what? I could do this. I'm like, girl, you could do that. You could do that.
Like all my friends joke, they say, you do natural family planning, but you're going to be the one that's pregnant at 50. And I said, probably. Yeah. I'm so sure of it, but so probably.
I see no problems. What's the problem here?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we're a cohesive group in that way. Our shared decisions and goals and topics and all these things. We'll get working on those. Bree, you said you're going to get working on the. What is that thing? Doodly.
Yeah, I'm sending out the doodle tonight.
Doodle, and then the policy paper is out there
tomorrow. Yeah,
you're awesome. And then we'll work on the Google document.
Yeah. And
we'll put in that forum, we are working from a shared Google document. Please see this link.
Right. Yeah, I think that's good.
All right, I guess we have a plan.
Good. And if she wants a copy of it, we'll include it, you know, like after if she wants us to, but we can always, you know, add her email to the Google Doc later at the end if she wants us to. And then you can look at the edit history and she'll see how much work we've put in, you know. So I don't know.
Oh, I didn't even know that you could do that on Google Docs. Look at that.
Yeah. When I've made mistakes before on my own stuff, because, you know, I never even used Google Docs till Frontier, but when I wanted to go back to an old edit, you know, that's what I've done. I've gone back that way.
That is really cool. Well, I'm going to attempt to, I will send this link to you guys. Is it okay? I'm going to go ahead and stop broadcasting, and then we'll see you guys at a TBD that Bree will let us know. All right.
Awesome.
Good.
All right. Take care, y'all.
Great meeting you guys.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Bye-bye.